Morning, friends. So we'll continue with the classes and objects which we are discussing in the previous class. We have seen many examples, how to declare the class, how to define the class in Python, and how to add the attributes, all those things. Also, we have seen some examples of fridge, how to define a class and how to define functions within the class. You can see here, uh, inside the class fridge, how to define the classes, how to use the class keyword, and class name, colon. It's a must, it's a syntax here. After that, you have to define this init function, so which takes the initialization parameters just like constructor in object oriented programming like Java. So you have to pass the parameters which you want to initialize. Okay, self is nothing but invoking object here always. So this is how we can um, assign the values to the invoking attributes. So whenever you are defining the functions within the class, you must take the indentation. If the function is outside the class, you must not take the indentation. It should be aligned with the class. Okay, it should be aligned with the class. Okay, so here we have taken indentation, means all these four functions are within the class fridge. Okay, this we have already seen. Okay, also one more function, one more class, one more example we are taking here. We are defining class called as cart here, so just like a shopping cart. Here we are defining three functions. So it also includes the init function. So there are three parameters: self, apple, and orange. So we have to check here whether there is a sufficient apple and orange they are there in the cart or not. Okay, so the function apple contents checks for the necessary number of apples available inside the cart. So if the number of apples are more than 5, it displays the sufficient quantity, otherwise it displays the insufficient. Similarly for orange contents, okay, if the orange are more than 10, it will display sufficient, otherwise it will display insufficient quantity. So let us try to execute this. Already we are executing all the programs using the idle here. So we have already written this particular program here with the class, I think it's 4, class 4. Okay, this is not the one. So class 3, yeah, this is the program, the same program we're writing here. So now these three functions are within the class. Okay, here these are aligned with this class name, the class keyword here. So these three statements are outside the class here. So here we are defining the object of the class here, fruits equals to cart of 3,11. So this is how we are defining the objects for a particular class in Python. So these are the parameters passed to the invoking object here, this fruits. Okay, cart of 3,11. Okay, so here print fruits dot apple contents check. So function is called directly inside the print function. It will directly display the sufficient or insufficient. Similarly for orange. Let us run this. So that is the output. Since 3,11 is there, so for apple it is more than equals to 5. So more than equals to 5 means this 3 is less, so insufficient. 11, second is 11, that is for orange. So it is more than equals to 10, so it is sufficient. That is how it will work. Okay, one more example we will take here. So check for the presence of character in the string. We are checking whether a character is present in the string. Okay, so class characters we are taking, two functions we are defining. One is init, which is default one, obviously we have to take this. Then one more is check for presence, to check whether the character is present in the string. So init function takes two arguments, one is string, another one is character. Okay, we are assigning those values to this. See how we are assigning the values. Self dot string arg equals to string arg, self dot the character arg equals to character arg. So check for presence does not takes any parameters here, because directly we are taking them inside the init. So if self dot character arg in self dot string arg. So what this particular if condition says is, if this character self dot character arg, if it is present in self dot string arg, then it will return true. Okay, otherwise return false. So we are taking a variable of object of the characters class chk. Chk is the object equals to character of hello a. The string is hello and character is a. We have, the function will have to check whether this a is present in hello. If we are calling here if check dot check for presence, print character is present. In the sense what, it will return true if that particular a is present in hello, otherwise it returns character is not present. So since a is not there in hello, it has to return character is not present. Let us execute this also. This is class 4 here. So same one is there. Okay, directly I will execute this. So character is not present, a is not there in the hello, so it displays character is not present. Just we will modify this. I will take e, save it and run it, and now it is displaying character is present. Okay, one more is there. This particular program will sum the number of elements of the list. It will add all the elements of the list and returns the sum of them. Okay, so class list sum is there. Init function is defined taking the list argument. Here it will compute the sum. Okay, print, we are taking directly a built-in function sum self dot list arg. So here ls equals to list sum, ls compute sum. So we can also do like this. Otherwise we can store this list in a variable, and you can pass that list variable to the list sum function or compute sum function. Okay, so it will add all this and returns a value. One more variation of that, class sum of elements. So here in it, even though we are not initializing any values, we have to take always, we have to specify this init function. Even though we are not initializing any values, it is a must. Okay, so sum all the elements self comma list parameter. So here we are passing the parameter list parameter we are passing here. Return sum list parameter. ls equals to sum of elements. Sum of elements is what? It is the class name. We are creating object ls for this particular class. Sum of all elements, this particular variable we are taking here, sum of all elements variable is equals to ls dot sum all the elements. Sum all the elements is this function. Okay, we are passing the list here. Okay, it will print the sum of all elements which is stored in this sum of all elements variable. Okay, just the variation of that. In the previous one we have not passed the parameter to this particular function. We have did it in init function. In this case we are not passing it in, we are not initializing it. Instead we are passing the list argument to the sum all the elements function. Okay, that is only the difference. Okay, there is some note here. User defined classes in Python have two types of attributes. Okay, attributes means variables. So class attributes and instance attributes. Class attributes are different and instance attributes are different. Class attributes are defined inside the class. They are common to all the objects of that class. That is, they are shared by all the objects created from that class. Okay, if we define the objects attributes within a class, just after the class name we are defining some variables. So those are called as class attributes. They are visible to all the functions defined for the all the objects defined over that particular class. Whereas instance attributes are defined individual objects. Okay, they are defined for individual objects. They are available only for that particular object. Okay, attributes of one instance are not available to instance of the same class. I will show you with an example here. So this is one class point is there, nothing we are defining here. As observe here, we don't have any variables here. So p1 equals to point, we are creating the object p1. P1 equals to point, p1 dot x 10, p1 dot y equals to 20. So these x and y are called as instance attributes because they are taken for the object p1. So these are instance attributes. So if you print p1 dot x, p1 dot y, it will print. But if you take p2 equals to point and if you try to print p2 dot x, it will not print because x is not the attribute of p2. You will get an attribute error here. Okay, x is not an attribute of p2. So this is another example. Speaking about class attributes, class point x equals to 2, y equals to 3 is there. X equals to 2, y equals to 3, both are class attributes. So if I use variables, objects, define two different objects p1 and p2, and if you try to print p1 dot x, p1 dot y and p2 dot x, p2 dot y, they will be printed. Okay, that is only the difference between class attributes and the instance attributes. Instance attributes of one object are not available to other object of the same class in case of Python. Okay. Next one, rectangles. So just now we have seen how to define a class, how to define point class. We have seen in the previous video. Point class we have defined, how to take the point, how to find the distance between 2 points. We have already seen that. If you don't remember, I will just show you that particular program. It is just a class one. Okay, this is what I am speaking. So class point we have defined. So import math we have imported since we are using some square root function and all here. Okay, point we are defining. See the difference. These three functions are outside the class point. They are not inside because of indentation. You can check the indentation here. Their indentation is not for the class here. They are aligned with the class, so they are not the functions of the point class. So whenever you are calling, you need not to take the object of the point class and call them directly. You can call them. You can see here, read point is called directly. Okay, distance function is called directly, print point function is called directly. So point class is just taken to initialize the variables, values, attributes. Okay, point is defined. So we are reading the point coordinates here, x coordinate or y coordinate we are reading here, and we are printing that particular point. Okay, if it is x is 10 and y is 20, and this print point function will print those values, and distance function will find the distance between the 2 points. p1 and p2 are 2 points here, so those are called here. Here you are using the function square root of p1, say x1 minus x2 bracket square plus y1 minus y2 bracket square. That is the function to find the distance between the 2 points. Square root of x1 minus x2 bracket square plus y1 minus y2 bracket square. Okay, so for the same class we are trying to include a rectangle class. Okay, let us see how can we do that. Okay, so imagine we are designing class to represent rectangles. What attributes are required here to specify the size of the rectangle? So we can ignore the angle. To keep the thing simple, we will use the vertical and horizontal width and height thing. At least we have to use one corner of the rectangle or the center, and the width and height. Okay, so to specify the rectangle, what we need is one corner of the rectangle, width and height. If we have this, we can specify the rectangle using a class object. So you can see here we are just showing this with an object diagram. This box is a rectangle. Okay, it is a object of the rectangle. So what it contains: width and height of the rectangle and one corner. As I said, one corner. So that corner is nothing but it's a point. A corner is nothing but with a point. It is a point. Already point class is we have defined, which contains two attributes, x and y. Okay. So rectangle, class rectangle is taken here. It represents a rectangle. Its attributes are width, height and corner. To represent rectangle, we have to instantiate it with what? So box object is taken, rectangle class object, box object is for rectangle class. So how to assign the values? Box dot width equals to 100, box dot height equals to 200, box dot corner equals to point. See this one, box dot corner equals to point. Okay, we are taking one more class here. So the point contains two coordinates, x and y. So how to assign the values for that? Box dot corner dot x is equals to 0, box dot corner dot y is equals to 0. So what this represent box dot corner dot x is, go to the object box refers to and select the attribute named corner, then go to that object and select the attribute named x. That is how the reference is given in case of Python. Okay. Fine. Let us see the complete program of this particular class, which includes both point and rectangle class. Okay. So this is what I am speaking about, the complete class for which uses the point and rectangle both classes here. See, class point also does not contain any attributes. Class rectangle also does not contain any attributes here. So these are the, we have not defined any attributes, in other words to say. So what we are trying here, we are trying to find the center of the rectangle. In this case, find center, rect. So rect is what here? It's an object of the rectangle class, and p equals to point. P is what here? Object of the point class. P dot x equals to rect dot corner dot x plus rect dot width divided by 2. So how we are finding the center? Just see how we are finding the center. P dot x equals to rect dot corner dot x, taking the x coordinate, plus width divided by 2. Width divided by 2. Similarly, y, rect dot corner dot y plus height divided by 2. Okay, so this will return the center. Okay, resize. If you want to resize the rectangle, rect comma w comma h. Rect is object, width and w and h are width and height. Rect dot width equals to width plus whatever the existing width. Rect dot height equals to height plus whatever the existing height. Then print point, as you have taken the point in this one. Okay, let us try to execute this. We are taking here rectangle, box dot corner equals to point. Okay, so this refers to what? Point object. This box dot corner is nothing but point object. Box dot width is 100, box dot height is 200, corner dot x is 0, corner dot y is 0. So means we are taking with the origin here. Okay, so original rectangle is what it will display here, its width and its height, and here we are finding the center of the box. Okay, so center is stored in center of the variable center contains the center of this particular rectangle. So that is displayed here. Print point center, it will display the center point. Then we are trying to resize the box here with the width and height of 50 and 70. Existing box is already there with 100 and 200, and we are resizing it by adding 50 and 70 to it. So rectangle after resize, it will add, that is it should become what, 150 and 270. Okay, then it has to find the center again. After adding the width and height, it has to find the center again. Okay, it will find the center and it will print. Let us try to execute this. Okay, so width is original rectangle, width is 100 and height is 200. That is given here, 100 and 200. The center of the rectangle, according to these values, center is 50 and 100. Okay, rectangle after resize 50 and 70 we are adding to the width and height, so it will become 150 and 270. After resizing, the width is 75 and 135. So this is how we can have multiple classes in the same program. Okay, class point, class rectangle, and these three. If we want, you can also define these classes, these functions within the class also. That is also possible. Just at the time of calling these, you have to use the object. At the time of calling these functions, you have to use that particular object. That is only the difference. Okay, so we'll finish here. We will see the things in the remaining things in the next class.